Bingies, welcome to the BingeWorthy podcast, part of the Geekish Network. My name is Johnny Randolph, and I've got three amazing co-hosts with me. My first co-host is, you know him as Newt from the Ville, Rakai. Man, tell the people who you are.
Hello, Governor.
And my next co-host, she's a flat-out superstar, Miss Courtney Scott Wright. Tell the people who you are, man.
Hello.
And our last co-host is Chuck, man. Let them know who you are, sir.
Nuck if you buck right. Nuck if you buck right.
He say nuck
That's
if you
boy.
buck right.
Right, that's right. We're doing warrior. Nuck if you buck.
Wow.
And we are the BingeWorthy podcast. And the premise of our show is that each week we will binge watch a show to let you know if you should. Today, we are going to be reviewing Warrior. Warrior, it is on Max. I hate that name. I hate that. I don't know why they changed it to Max. There are
with X.
Yeah, it's up there with X. It's up there with X. Warrior season 3. There are 10 episodes, and the premise is in the wake of the riots that upended Chinatown in season 2, Mai Ling uses her government connections to consolidate.
Government.
What's that?
I'm sorry, I said government. You should say government. Government connections. I'm sorry, I interrupted
you. The Hobway must find new ways to survive. And the way our show goes is at the beginning of the show, we will rate it using our binge-worthy scale. Then we engage in conversation and an analysis, and we re-rate it at the end. So I am going to lean into my technical director. Rodney, can you please display how the binge-worthy crew rated Warrior season 3? Okay, so we got 2 snacks, we got a mini meal, and we got a binge worthy. Okay, all right. Interesting. All right, so that gives us a cumulative score of a mini meal. That's right at a 3. All right, so let's start talking about this. I'm going to turn to you, Chuck, first. This show is built as a martial arts show because it's based on Bruce Lee's vision. So what did you think about the quality of the fighting scenes for the season?
The few that we had, I thought the fighting scenes were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you said something interesting, built as a martial arts show. It seemed like it was built as a show for white folks.
Okay, all right. All right. Okay, so we'll talk about some of those things. Courtney, what did you think about the quality of the action sequences for this season?
I thought the action sequences were really good. I thought I do agree that we didn't get enough, especially not of Atoy. Like, she's one of my favorite characters, and they really downgraded her. And I know she was in a transitional place, but I really miss those scenes. And I understand that it, culminated in a certain way to push her back to that character that we really love. But I thought the fight scenes were really awesome, especially getting to see Father June get to really get in there. Yeah.
Okay. Rakai, did you think there were sufficient fight scenes? The right number, not enough? We needed some more? I mean, Chuck and Courtney have kind of alluded to it that we needed some more. What were your opinions on that?
No, we didn't have enough. We got some great action and things popping in season 2. And it almost seemed like everything took a backseat in this season. And then the sad part is our main characters, there was no character building with them. We didn't learn anything about them, nothing.
Well, we're going to talk about that. We're talking about action scenes right now. We're talking about action scenes.
But that's what I'm saying. They sacrificed action to do a bunch of character pieces, but it's not even really about our main characters. The action was lacking. The few that we got were outstanding. But it was seriously lacking.
Okay, so we all felt that they needed some more action scenes. The few that we got, we thought they were good quality, just not enough based on previous seasons, right? Seasons 1 and 2, I thought they really leaned in, especially season 2. Like that that riot scene. They really leaned into it, and we kind of didn't get that for this one. All right, Miss Courtney Scott Wright, you are an actress, ma'am. How do you feel the actors did for this season? Did they understand the mission and did they deliver?
This season was heavily on transition. I felt like it was really about testing loyalties and everybody growing to whatever their next level was. So I do think as actors, I loved Young June's journey and kind of descent into madness a little bit, like just not madness, but distrust. His father June's descent into madness. And I thought Mei Ling showed her truest colors. And Atoy had to figure out what she wanted. Like, she realized she got caught up in a white world. And then at the end of the day, realized I don't belong there. And I don't even know if I want to belong there. So I feel like it really was about the acting. I do agree that they focused like a little bit too much on like the political side, but I think you needed that like crazy mayor and that crazy little woman that he ended up with, just because so you could see like where Mylene was going. We totally could have done less, but you know, I thought that everybody understood the mission that they were given, and I thought they executed it well. Only thing I didn't really, I could have used more of Assam, less of his relationship and more of his journey. I feel like we didn't get that until the very end. So, and him really choosing his side.
Okay, Chuck, looked like you had something to add to that.
I don't have anything to add really. Besides, I think the acting was great in it. That's why I didn't get a cringeworthy from me. Was the acting and the few actions. That's the only two things that saved it. Everything else, I said from the last season, the last one reviewed, if they make this a white story, they give us a bait and switch, I'm gonna mark it as a cringeworthy no matter what. And they leaned all the way in on that.
So then let's go down that, right. So for seasons 1 and seasons 2, I thought the story focused primarily on the Tongs and their relationship to San Francisco. For this season, I thought the narrative focused more on other topics like the politics, some backstories about people that I didn't necessarily care about as much. But I'm gonna start with you, Rakai. Did you think this was a good decision for the series?
Absolutely not.
Why
My
not?
my first thought was, who is writing this show? It's almost apparent that anyone who cared about the actual character of the show is not in the writing room. Interesting fact I found out after watching it is that all the production on the season was moved to Cape Town, South Africa. And
It was like, always there.
Well, I think they brought in some locals to do the writing.
I was gonna say it was always in South Africa.
Well, they brought in locals to do the writing. So whoever was representing in the writing room, they got fired. They, caught COVID. I don't know what happened, but they not there no more.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
They not there no more. And it showed. It showed so much in this season.
So Chuck, you gave it a cringeworthy, and did you feel the same way about kind of the movement away from?
I gave it a snack, but I would have gave it a cringeworthy. What did I feel about the show? This is hard to say, right? You gave me a lot of characters that I didn't need to know. Everything that happened to Mei Ling, she could have said in confidence to Lee Young, like I try to make it cool with the white girl. Like the introduction, and she got in cool in the tea ceremony scene, and she could have ran back up into the tongue and been like, they try to play me. They try to play me. The white folks try to play me. She could have said that to the man she loves, and him wanting to stand up to defend her, like, I'll go with these white people's ass and ran out to my house. She's like, no, don't mess with them. It'll mess up the business we have going on here. They could have done that scene instead of having her come face to face with this white woman about her husband. I didn't care about any of that. I'm like, yo, cut all that out. I don't care about this cop who turned himself good. I don't care about the other cop that comes a federal agent because he's a criminal and him going to meet his relative. I didn't care about none of that. I'm like, these are Chinese people tongs in San Francisco during the gold rush and the railroad mining. You mean to tell me no more Chinese people hopped off these boats? They're pulling Chinese people in by the thousands on these boats every day. Not a new Chinese character got introduced besides the French one that was dating Hong. I was so angry. I was livid watching this.
I was a little disappointed that they introduced more new white characters than they did
than Chinese characters. Yes.
Well, they were focusing on trying the idea of the white people trying to deport the Chinese people. I'm not saying listen, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying like that. I think that was more about the Tongs trying to figure out where we as people, is it more important for us to battle each other, or is it more important for us to take down or like come together in order to battle these white people? I thought that's what it was. Wait, can I finish?
Go ahead.
Kanye, y'all just, I understand y'all did. Just give me a second.
You're right. Go ahead.
I understand.
Go ahead.
That like,
because I'm about to crush this opinion of yours. I'm about to crush it. Just let you know. Heads are going to give it.
I mean, never mind it. It doesn't matter.
I want to do it.
No.
Please share your opinion.
You even told her, I'm gonna let you finish, but
exactly.
Wow.
Like you literally just went out there. I'm gonna let you finish,
did,
but I'm gonna be better than you. Like
no. I'll go ahead.
That's just not even.
Go ahead.
Fun.
Sorry, my fault. Go ahead.
Yeah, please share your opinion, Courtney.
Go ahead. My fault. Go ahead.
I think ultimately this is a setup season because it's really showing the descent and the power rise of these white people. So that if for season 4, that this is when the real battles are going to come. Like you have to develop this villain, the real villain, which is the white people, in order for them to have anywhere to go. In terms of the white woman and Mai Ling, I don't think it had anything to do with her and her white husband. It had everything to do with for the last 2 seasons, Mai Ling has wanted to be white. She has been trying to find a way to get into the good graces of white society and be accepted. That's what all these 2 seasons are about. Her taking over the Tong was never even really about the Tong. It was about power and showing the class that she could bring to the white Chinese, and that she had a place among them. And then she was brought back to fucking reality when they stripped her ass, took her to jail, and treated her like everybody else. So that scene, I loved that scene with her and the white wife because that woman was terrified. The only thing I didn't like is that she lived. That was my only problem with that scene, is that Mai Ling allowed her to live. She didn't come out with a scar. She didn't come out losing some fingers. She didn't come out losing that hair. I needed her to lose something. But in order for that to happen, then Mai Ling would have been again in the crosshairs. So it was really about Mai Ling understanding, I see you and I understand where you see me. So therefore, fuck you. Fuck your house, fuck your husband, fuck your people. And I'm going to do what I need to do. The only problem is that she fucked herself with her husband and like the entire time. Like she just didn't know who she was or what to do. So
that's interesting. I thought Mai Ling understood power dynamics from day one. Like everything about power dynamics. I never got the impression that she wanted to be white. I got the impression she wanted power. I got the impression that
she wanted to fit in.
And 2, I didn't get that impression. I got the impressions in season 1 and 2, she wanted power, and she was going to kill her husband to get it, betray her brother to get it, and do anything to retain that power. So I didn't necessarily see it as her being white. I thought
maybe not white, but fit in. She wanted to be accepted.
Thought it was a deviation from who she was. I did. I never saw her wanting to fit into this white world in seasons 1 and 2. It was never indicated. Even when after they had the riot, they were like, we're going to work together today, but tomorrow we're going to be back enemies again. Like, I just thought she wanted power. I never understood her wanting to fit into a white world for me.
Here's the one thing that I understood about when from season 1 when she killed her husband. That that women in their particular culture are overlooked and undervalued. And and really the most powerful woman around her is the one who has claimed who she was and turned into a business, who is a toy. You know what I'm saying? And a toy is still tried every damn show. Some goddamn drunk ass dude that comes in there tries a toy's ass every fucking time. And even them dudes who was trying her and said when she took they hoes or whatever, excuse me, you know what I'm saying? She took they
hoes. They was
they
hoes.
listen.
whatever. Yeah,
They were working women.
I can't think of the polite name for it. Harlots. I don't know what it is, but
sexual workers.
Sex workers.
Sex workers. I mean, okay.
But she took theirs, and you know what I'm saying. She pulled a pimp scene. She turned into Goldie from the Mac. She's like, your hoes chose me. You know what I'm saying? It's some gangster shit. And Mylene had to step in, but then dude still came back and tested her simply because she was a woman. And that's what Mylene felt the entire goddamn time. And I do agree that Mylene did want to be white because that is the ultimate power. The thing is, having power on this level, the police showed that. They came in and whooped Young June's ass and took his ass. They're about to deport him. And he's the leader of the fucking Tongs. Means nothing. And Mylene wanted to get on that level. And to me, I said, the parallel to me, the greatest show ever, The Wire, Mylene became Stringer Bell this season. She wanted to elevate her power and move it into another level and play in a world that she really didn't understand and couldn't move in. And that's why she wanted to start making these deals. And she's giving all the money away to the white people because, she's trying to explain to the Tongs, y'all don't understand. If we get on this level, then we can write our own ticket. But they had a whole different thing for it because they didn't see her the way she saw herself.
They didn't see her vision. But ever since in the first season, when she started meeting with the wannabe mayor, who he wasn't even mayor, he was the assistant mayor at that point in time. She started meeting with him because she saw where he was going. And she wanted to establish a relationship and a connection. Yes, it was about power. I agree with you, Randy. It was totally about power, but she was playing the long game, in my opinion. In terms of Atoy, you know how bad Atoy was when she killed that man and the cop walked in, knew her by face because he had worked with her and covered that shit up. He didn't even go and talk to her about it. He didn't ask her about it. He just covered that shit up. That's true power. Right there. This man is the new chief of police. He ain't been
the new chief.
10 seconds. 10 seconds he's chief of police. And he already covering that shit up. Will he probably come back and want a favor? Probably. But he ain't come yet. He ain't come right away. Because she's not the one.
So, go ahead, Chuck, you've been trying to jump in here. Chuck, go ahead.
No, I'm listening.
He's ready to come for everybody.
And the thing that's go ahead.
I equate him to Stringer Bell. I do equate her to Stringer Bell. Stringer talked to those people 3 scenes in all of The Wire. And the whole entire time, it was his gang telling him, that's a bad move. Don't trust them. Don't trust them. No one in Mylene's camp talked to her. She didn't even talk to Lee Young about it. And Stringer Bell had a lot of conversations about dealing with white people. And and she didn't have that with anybody. Instead, she had more conversations with the white people about dealing with white people than the people that trusted her and loved her. And I was like, wow. And it was about power. I don't think she wanted to be white. Stringer Bell never wanted to be white. He wanted to wash the money, clean the money, and claim on the power in the larger greater Baltimore area. And he knew he could do it through real estate.
And that's the premise of every gangster movie, right? They want to be legitimized and want to be on the same level. Whether it's The Godfather, whether it's Stringer Bell, whether it's them, they want equal footing. They don't necessarily need to integrate with the world. And the way they made Mylene look to me was like she was so enamored with their culture. Like, oh, she looked at the dress and she was fascinated by the design of it. Like, you come from the greatest designers in the world, like Chinese history and Chinese tapestry and all of these things. Why were they making her being enamored with this white culture? And I didn't see that in those first 2 seasons.
Neither.
It seemed
But
like a huge deviation
They made her
from the
picky.
character to me. Every gangster wants to be legitimized, right? They want legitimate businesses to watch the things to be on equal footing. They made her lean all the way in, and I just didn't see that. That's just my opinion.
Well, I mean, it's not that we don't agree with you, Randy, or at least I don't, but I think the way that they portrayed her this season seemed like not only was she trying to get on the white people's level and play at their level, that, like you said, she was enamored with them and with their culture. So it was more than about power. I mean, and that's the way that they portrayed her this season. The writing did that to her.
I don't think she shunned her people or nationality. Like if you think about the way she kept her house, like when they talked about how she designed it in like the ways of old to like be reminded of the resplendent like ways of old. Do you know what I'm saying? I definitely think that 100%. But she's also in America. Like if she wanted to go back to China, then that she wanted to be accepted. I guess that's what I meant. She wanted them to see her as someone who was equally could bring some power to that same thing, even as a woman. She wanted to I think she wanted to like show these other like echelon women that we are more than just our sex. But she didn't realize the women didn't want to be anything more than their sex. The white woman that did was the one who was playing the mayor. But like, I just think that Myleen's long game was bigger than the Tong. And that was her fall. That was her blind spot. Like when she gave away all the money, like she didn't trust Lee Young because she thought she was the only one who knew what to do. She just, and I loved his journey. I loved his journey with Mark Dacascos. Anytime Mark Dacascos shows up in a show, any single time.
Yeah,
I fucking love that kid. He is power. He brings class and elegance to what even in the damn Crow, the TV series. He found a way to make that show his own. And after Brandon Lee died, and and everybody, the movie was beloved, and that TV series is still like really good. So when I saw him show up, I was like, dang, he not gonna last. He can't. But that scene between him, that scene between brothers when he was like, please just stop. Please don't make me do this. That was so brutal and heartbreaking.
So
really good.
Okay. The only thing I was to say, so since we've kind of agreed that the story deviated from season 3 is deviated from what they were doing in 1 and 2, where it was the primary focus on the Tongs. We'll start with you, Chuck, first. We'll say, what are some characters that we'd like to have seen maybe expanded upon in season 3?
Lee Young and the other 5 Tongs in the damn city. Like there's 5 other Tongs there. They could have talked about the elders. The elders did nothing but complain. Like, what's the purpose of the elders? They never talked about the hierarchies. They could talked about new Tong members. They could have done a lot more. They could talk about the business they had to run around the bulls. The ducks and the bulls. Why they call them the ducks and the bulls. I wanted to know more about Tong culture. And I felt I didn't learn anything about Tong culture. I knew everything about white culture. That's been done a million times. And I know there's a power dynamic.
Didn't Myleen fold the other 3 Tongs into her the Long Z? She folded the other 3 Tongs into the Long Z.
And they did all that through conversation and not action of showing them fold. Like in The Wire, you saw gangs and drug dealers fold. And you saw how the process took it to fold them when Marlo was folding up the gangs and killing off the people that were in control.
I never saw The Wire, so I can't speak to that. But then the season 2, they folded the first 2 Tongs. So this was about the
and last new Tongs would have came too. New Tongs would have rose up because that's what the San Francisco was at the time. Tongs was rising up.
I was disappointed that they didn't lean more into just Asian culture in San Francisco.
None at all.
I would have rather seen like more because we got the tongs, right? The first two seasons we get the tongs, but let's see like the working class or the business class in like let's see a different part of Asian culture in San Francisco. And so that to me was a missed opportunity. I thought we could have leaned in a lot more to the overall community.
They could have had a whole episode about recruiting new members.
Yeah, recruiting new members. They could have had one about the business members there, or like the bourgeoisie, or it's something. The working class. We just got,
or better yet, some badass hopping off the boat saying, "I'm establishing a tong here." Just like
they did that. They did that last season when
they got the new guy in the Hopway.
Yeah, they with Hong, like they did that.
Yeah, and then they went into his whole.
But I said, I'm standing up my own too as a new tong.
But then they set up.
They did that with
Hong's. They set up Hong's journey where he had this boyfriend, and they had a whole different shit going on. What about some badasses or some shit going on with all the Chinese who were working on Strickland's railroad? Didn't even touch on that.
They didn't touch on it.
All them Chinese is out there working on a railroad, and they have zero connection or zero ties to anything going on in Chinatown and to the Tongs.
Or the few Chinese that might have discovered gold and made a run for it.
Made arrangement, or like the printing. I thought they just made the father the printing press, right? We could have had some printing, like business people, like small business people there in that community that we saw things that they were doing, right? Like, how'd you learn how to do a printing press? Like, how'd you learn English and come over here and do that? How'd you set up your businesses and do it? Like, we didn't get anything about but we got a lot about like the Irish community and all the other communities. We got a lot about them. We didn't get
You know, the dad doesn't really speak English. That English was just for us. He spoke Chinese.
I get it, but
is that a stereotype too? I mean, they have artisans that are that damn good. I mean, because that's also at least the second time I've seen, skilled Chinese artisans doing counterfeit money. They did this shit in rush hour. Like, I mean, is that a thing or a stereotype?
I mean, I can't speak to that, but I mean, there are the characters and it is. I think in some way there's some similarities, and I could totally be wrong in terms of like the calligraphy of it and the precision that would go into like the creating of the characters. It just, whether or not it's a stereotype or whether or not they created it just for this show, I liked that they showcased that the daughter who had been overlooked by the dad was the one
she had some real skill.
She was the one who had the real ability, and her brother was an idiot. You know, like I could have used more of the female stories. I don't need the empowerment per se. Like, other than Atoy, I liked her journey, and I felt sad that we lost Mai. You know, is that her name? Z? What was her name?
I think her name is Mai.
Was it Mai? I thought it was Mai.
Something like that. Mai.
But
and I could have used more of Chow. I just love his whole. I feel like we needed a spinoff, and he should have had more opportunity, especially in this world, because that's what he is. He's a wheeler and a dealer. Like, he could have.
Even Happy Jack, like his connection with Happy Jack. Happy Jack sold him and the white man. I thought that shit was hilarious. I mean, it wasn't funny, but it was like, damn. He was like, damn, man. He thought he was running the game, and the game ran him.
Yeah,
but he's the one that saved the white man's life.
Yeah, we should have saw more of Chow in this season, and the most we got to see him kind of alone was on that whack ass trip back to wherever it was to see old boy's family, and I was just like, I could have dealt with more with Chow.
And the thing about Chow, like the last role that he was in, he was my favorite character.
He was.
When he was on Banshee, he was my favorite character on Banshee.
In Banshee?
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw he was in C too, and he was one of the better part. He and Atoy were both in C.
Yeah, I mean, and they were in C. I mean, and C was it is.
C was trash, but they were good. They were good. I didn't watch the last season of Banshee, but I liked that show.
I mean, but the entire time he was in Banshee, he was the best character in Banshee, bar none. Um, and Chow, like I said, he was a survivor. And I think just the way that they wrote his character and what they did to him, this character from the beginning to the whack ass trip down south to even the season finale. Yeah, like just disrespect. Like I was like, who is writing this shit?
Justice,
you know what would have been good? Somebody came off the salt that that can actually challenge Child.
Well, maybe that's who that guy was. The guy that you asked about, the character that you wanted to see, whoever that guy was that got off, that took out Chow and at the end at the train station. I want to know who that dude is. Because have we seen him before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is he?
Yeah. He's got a betrayed Chow in the first season.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ran him out of the shop. Came back and killed Chow. Yeah.
Okay.
Ran him out of the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chow ran him out.
He's from season 1.
Season 1.
Okay, well then maybe that kid will come like that. See, that was out of the blue. That was a callback that I needed to see him. I needed to see him, or at least remnants that he had been puppeteering some shit from somewhere else. I'll give you that, because I was like, who's and I just didn't care. But I think for me, I really enjoyed the about face for Assam. Like in terms of him finally finding something other than the Tongs and his sister to fight for. He was ready to move on and choose himself, only to be drawn back in. Because like, Young Jun, you're not going to make me choose against my sister. You're just not going to do that. Even though she's crazy.
I found that an interesting scene. I found that a very interesting scene.
What did you find interesting about it?
Is that the way they did it up in the house? I think they would have killed him. I was like, they're literally in a weapons room, and nobody really thought about pulling out weapons and killing him. He took down the whole entire Tong by himself. He took down the whole entire Tong. He Darth Vader the Tong.
I thought that was.
I don't know, cause I think the only one who was even, and he wasn't even really, that was close to Assam in skill was Hong. And Young Jun, none of the rest of the dudes, they weren't even close. They weren't.
Because he took him out when Father June brought Assam in. He turned him out. Like he was turning them out from the season 1.
He did the same thing to them crazy ass Germans. He did the same thing in season 2 when he went to the pit and was basically UFC bare knuckle brawling. I mean,
the only one was Lee Young.
Lee Young, yeah. Lee Young.
He is that dude. And Hong is a good rival for him. And Young Jun.
Hong's heart wasn't in it.
Him at the same time.
The only good rivals for Assam are Leon and Leary.
You know?
I think
that Irish white man. I don't know
if he can beat 20 people all at once.
And man. I thought it was interesting how Strickland took out everybody.
He beat the whole Tong by himself.
He beat the whole Tong.
Take over the whole damn city there. Him and one other person can
But that's what's Father June's point.
Not that damn skilled.
That's what Father June's whole point was. He was waiting for Assam to take. He told Young Jun from the beginning.
They took over. They beat every Tong but one to get up there next to as them and Mai Ling's Tong were the 2 highest Tongs. They took over all the other ones in ranking. Like there's a constant battle for who's the top Tong. And that's like saying you beat this one blood gang, you're gonna be the best blood gang ever. No, you have to fight inside the Bloods to become the best blood gang.
And I agree with Courtney about Father June, but I thought he was saying that Assam was going to take over, like try to move. And the move was right. It was no way he was going to move against his sister if it came down to it.
Yeah.
He'd rather have lost his life than.
But Father June also told him too. He said the thing about Assam is pure chaos. And the one thing that you're now leader of the Hopway. You have to act like it. And there's nothing and no one more important than the Hopway. And Assam, that's your boy, that's your friend, that's your man's. But he's never going to see what you see. He's never going to be that. And he's saying the sooner you realize that, the better off you'll be.
And part of that was his sister with his chaos. Cause like when Chow was talking to him, because Assam said, well, she tried to kill me. And Chow was like, families are complicated.
Yeah.
Great line. Yeah.
Yeah.
You might go kill your sister. And I'm like, he is right. He's absolutely right.
He's
So
absolutely right.
Hey, I felt, when he said that line, I felt like a song because I had personally lived through that. Like, well, my brother tried to dice me. Families are complicated.
families are complicated, right?
I guess.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, they should have taken him out. Okay. Rakai, so what did you actually think about Young John's transition into power? He was having some troubles navigating the leadership curve initially. So how did you think this plot point played into the overall quality of the season?
Young June should have been dead. Young June, when he first took over, he was wilding. The power went to his head. He got exactly what he wanted. And sometimes the worst thing that can ever happen to you is that you get exactly what you want. He was wilding. Assam told him, listen, we making this counterfeit money. You out here wilding, spreading it around all the place. Like, we trying to lay low and trying to pay off Happy Jack and this other shit. And you out here flashing everywhere, knowing there's people looking for this shit. People came back and killed up all them white boys, and when we came and took the plates. So you know that the spot is hot. It's just dumb shit. And you know what I'm saying? I think until he ran into his father after Ducks beat his ass, and he's about to be deported, and he ran into his father, and then they beat his ass in jail. He should have died in a little deportation center. You know, I mean, and he got lucky. He got lucky again.
Well, yeah, because Assam was making deals in order. Assam and Mai Ling they are cut from the same cloth. They understand the business, and I think because they understand the white man's English, they understand they are playing two different games than Young Jun and Lee Young are playing. Like the fact that he negotiated with the one person that A, he knew Young Jun hated, and B, the only person that could get Young Jun out of jail from being deported. He did what he needed to do in order to she did what she needed to do, what she thought she needed to do in order to get like the power she thought she deserved. They are yin and yang. That's the thing. Those two people, no matter how much they fight and butt and hate and kick on each other, at the end of the day, the two of them together, listen, I'm a little worried for San Francisco.
They've had some different circumstances and you know how they came to be. But it's just like if you look at Young Jun, so the police beat him down, almost kill him, throw him in a deportation place. Then when he gets to a deportation place, all the people that the Hopway had done dirty through business and all that other stuff, all them dudes almost kill him in prison. And then him and Father June are about to, you know what I'm saying, grab some dirty shivs and try to fight their way out of the damn deportation place. And again, Assam comes to save him. And I love where he told him, he's like, if I want to take over, I could have just let your ass be deported.
And he could have.
He could have.
He could have.
I mean, but and it's still, even when he got him out, Young Jun still was an ass and showed him immediately, disrespect him and like, how could you make a deal with her? Thank you, motherfucker. Like,
yeah, he just didn't. He couldn't see the game. Like he was too busy being a spiteful toddler. Like
that's the role of a prince. All princes do that. He's the role of the prince. And my dad was the man. My dad survived the deportation. Don't think his dad was in control of the tongue when a lot of these men had this stuff happen to them, but they didn't kill his dad. They didn't kill his father. And his father was going through mental illness at the time.
And that's he wasn't back then. That was a result of the gunshot wound.
Yeah, that was a result of. But I felt though,
that's right, sepsis.
It was valid. Like he did make a deal to give up like half to Maoling, and like it's tough. It's like you could have got me out, or you could have gave up half to my sworn enemy. That's tough. I mean, I get it. You can say thank you, but it still puts them in a weakened position.
Even if he didn't say thank you,
at the end of the day too,
but
he wanted to get out Young June, not so much to get out Young June too, but he knew right away too that the rest of the Hopway would look to him to be the leader, and he didn't want that shit.
No, he didn't. I don't
He
think
didn't want it. He didn't want that responsibility. He didn't want that. That wasn't where he was leaving. And he's like, shit, the best thing to do is to get back. Young June wants to do this shit. I don't know what I want. I just know it ain't this.
Assam came across the salt to save his sister.
Yeah.
That was it. Nothing else.
Yeah.
And he got pulled into the Hopway. So him wanting to skate, I understand. This is what I want to do.
Yeah. His sister's too busy saving herself and killing everybody else close to her. So
yeah.
And it don't even matter. That's still his sister. At the end of the day, he can be mad at her. He can talk shit. He might ruin a business deal, but you ain't gonna hurt my sister.
Yep. So I see Young June's feel. I'm the prince. I'm the crown prince. I thought they made him into a villain when he was just somebody just didn't have enough wits. He's a wild bull. And they didn't let him to lean into the wild bull. You know, instead he was like, let's party and have Sticky. I'm not Sticky. He said, I was like, they should take a shot every time June says Sticky. I said, people will be fucked up or dead from alcohol poisoning. And I was like, there's so many other things he knows he doesn't know. Why don't they focus on business with the tongue? Because his tongue Hopway do have elders as well.
And they don't know how come he never caught anything. All his stickiness.
Yeah, right.
Nobody got any kind of sickness.
Thank you.
Plus on top of that, he got turned out by that big German chick. Like
she did turn him out.
Like
she did turn him out.
I mean, I ain't like, but like to y'all point about the elders, right? He even says like Mylene killed her own elders. Like that's a big no. But we never see the Hopway lean into their elders, right?
Exactly.
They didn't have elders.
They all have elders. I thought
all tongues have elders.
All tongues have elders.
They didn't go into that world.
Oh, I thought it was. Oh, I thought Father June was. I guess Father June did have advisors in season 1.
Yeah, they all have elders. And Young June was like, she killed her own elders. Like, that's not shit we do in our own culture. She's got to be stopped. But yet the series never talked about the Hopway's elders. And that's another point we could have got into. Instead, we got to go down to wherever we went to with Bill on the damn train to meet them rednecks. I was like, what?
So one thing about
it wasn't Bill, it was the other white boy.
Whatever his name is, yeah.
One thing about Lee. One thing about the tongues, they all have OGs, and what keeps the peace is not the leaders; it's the elders actually playing games together. They go and gamble, and play mahjong and stuff.
Yeah, and sit down and play Go with each other.
They sit there and talk to each other. That's what maintains the peace.
Yep, the White Lotus Society.
But you would never know that because they had us go down south with Lee and talk about some white folks and Toy calling out. You kept your house this way because you fantasized in the minds of white people what it looks like in China.
I agree with you that they didn't need to add Strickland and his whiteness. They didn't need him other than to be a foil for Atoy, but she didn't need that kind of foil. Like, there was enough white people there that we already have established. Like, say the mayor and his wife, that could have been the Strickland. And that way you get rid of him and then the wife has to leave too. You know, rather than Strickland be somebody else completely. You know, he could have been he could have been like the businessman too. But those two characters could have been merged into one. We didn't need them both. I absolutely agree with you on that one. There was more than too many white people because we already had Bill and Lee and their storylines, and then you got Bill's family and then Strickland,
you got the white boys that went to jail for stealing from the Chinese people.
Larry, all the Irish dudes.
Well, I think
Atwood,
the new police.
That was more about Leary, which is the one established white dude that we already had, and so I was okay with that little dumb story. It lasted like half a page.
Where's my new fight between him and Assam? I wanted that fight.
I did like that scene when Leary went to Chinatown for the first time. When he went to talk to Assam, and Assam was like, "Yo, what you doing? Like, why are you here?" You know what I mean? Like that. I like the chemistry between the two of them. Like, it's so good because you want to see these two interact. You want to see them be the foil for each other.
That was a level of respect too. It's like, okay, I understand. I know what you put down that night when we got into it and all that. I get it, but I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying? My boys, you know what I'm saying, locked up and this and that, and you know,
I thought that was
bring your ass over here. It's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
I did think it was funny because he was like, "Why you coming to me? Like I'm not the leader of halfway." And he turned around, looked at the little picture. He 15 on the wall.
He said, "You are 10 feet tall."
I'm not even from here.
Nobody knows that. You may not want the crown. That don't mean you don't have it.
Yeah. And I think the problem with Bill and Lee, they got the happy ending, and a few of the Chinese people actors got happy endings.
Right, none of them.
They're talking about ending it this season.
None of them.
This may be the last season.
Right now, I got an email today. I got a message today to sign a petition to make sure that they make season 4 of Warrior. I was like, how the hell they get my information? Who told them I ain't shit?
Yeah.
I started unplugging shit. I was like, that's the Matrix. They didn't found me.
They're like, since you're going on the air tonight talking about Warrior, if you could mention our petition, that would be great.
Yep. I sure did. I got an email for a petition today.
And what angers me the most is they silenced Shannon Lee. They took her person out the writing room and they silenced her as executive producer.
Did they?
Yes. Yes.
And that's what happened to this season.
You read? Okay, speak more on that.
So Shannon Lee was executive producer. She didn't like the story they were writing because they were taking it away from the Chinese culture in San Francisco. And so they were like, well, we paid for this show. And this show is not making us any money. So we're going to take your girl, push her out the writing room, who's her business partner, and we're going to leave you as executive producer. You're welcome.
And they went all the way in with the
white story.
Matter of fact,
I didn't know that story.
David Zaslav said,
we're appealing to middle America. That's his mission.
It's on record. They're saying they're appealing to white Midwesterners.
That's what he said?
Yes.
Yes.
About Warrior?
No, about everything.
HBO Max.
Discovery, Warner Brothers, all that shit.
Yeah. They fired all the black executives and kept like one Latino person. They literally
they fired the black and Asian executives.
I didn't know that. Yeah. I just didn't know that they fired Shannon Lee's writer.
They didn't fire her. They silenced her.
Oh, so she was in the writing room, but she couldn't write?
No, they took her person out of the writing room.
They took her person out of the writing room.
And shut her down. She had no influence on the show.
Oh, can somebody send me that article?
And they created, so look, we got the businessman, we got the woman, we got expansion on the cops. Like they put like 5 new white characters in there and no new Asian characters at all.
No one came off the salt.
We did. We got the new family. I mean, I'm agreeing with you guys. I agree, especially knowing now the backstory.
We got Assam's girlfriend.
We got too many white people.
And Hong's boyfriend.
Girlfriend.
And Hong's boyfriend.
And Hong's boyfriend, which, listen, I was very excited that he got an ethnic girlfriend from his own community. B, he really liked her. C, she was his equal. And D, he was ready to chuck it all for her. So I appreciated that element. Whether or not they did it because we didn't like him with the white women. I didn't like him with the white women either. So I can't really.
But I think we didn't get enough of that relationship. We should have got more of that relationship.
I thought him and the toy was
enough of their relationship.
Getting together.
Assam and what's her name? I don't think we got enough of it.
I enjoyed her. I thought she not weakened in a bad way. I thought that they had wonderful I loved them together, but she softened him, and we only saw that softened side with her. Do you know what I mean? Like they softened him in the areas with her, but then it's almost like it pervaded into the version of him that we saw in the Tong. And so I didn't necessarily like that. And I understand the arc that they were trying to show who he was trying to become, so that when he back shifted into the man he truly is, into his original mission, which I came here to protect my sister. I get it. That's why I said their relationship got on my nerves a little bit, because it's like the minute he got happy,
he was Padme.
I thought
he
that
was
was
Padme.
He was
minute he
Anakin
got
and
happy,
turning to Darth Vader on his own time.
Young Jung was absolutely right that Assam should not been messing with her. She was their printer. If I was Young Jung, she's the only person who can do this job at this point. You went and recruited her. From a business standpoint, my top lieutenant should not be messing with her. I thought that was horrible the way they were carrying on. And if I was Young June, I would have had the exact same feelings. And I thought
Young June have killed her.
I think Young June would have killed him.
Yeah,
I thought he would have killed
Young June was gonna kill her.
He was gonna kill her.
He was gonna kill her. He wasn't gonna kill her.
Yeah.
He wasn't gonna kill Assam, but
because he loved this song. But I think in the
but
real world of
Assam-
gangsters,
But Assam would have chose her. If Young June had killed her, Assam is going to choose her, and he's going to go against them, and then he's going to have to kill Assam.
about to kill Assam.
The only thing I thought was uncharacteristic, given who everything we've seen Assam get into and out of in 2 seasons, was him going to the police and selling out his tongue for the girl. That was the only thing that I thought was not Assam, was not something that he would do necessarily. And I, like the backpedal way that they did it with Happy Jack's people coming in and making it look like, a cover for Assam. But I mean, that was Chow. But like,
yeah, but that's something Chow absolutely would do.
Huh?
Chow's a survivor. That's something Chow would.
I'm not talking about Chow. I'm not talking about Chow. I'm talking about the fact that them being there muddied the waters. So Young June never even put it together that the reason the cops were there was because Assam told them where it was. Happy Jack became a sleight of hand. So it was almost like I think Young June thought they were following Happy Jack's people and found their way there, or Mylene sold somebody out. It didn't. He never thought of it being Assam, and I thought that was a convenient cover that never really worked for me.
Yeah,
I will agree with that.
Yeah, I found it interesting that that when Young June came up to Assam and was like, "What? We're gonna go kill her." He's like, "No, she's gone. I got rid of Yelan." He's like, "No, I'm talking about your sister. I'm talking about your sister."
That shit was funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
So yeah, her, that girl.
He was like, "Oh, I didn't forgot about that girl. That girl. He didn't even know that girl had been arrested."
To take care of. That is actually a leadership position, but he shouldn't have told Assam. They should have went there and went and killed Mylene and not told Assam, because he had
exactly.
He had,
but he told Assam on purpose.
He was testing.
He told Assam to see where did his loyalties lie.
I get it.
Yeah,
he needed to know.
Lie, but it was like, I was a badass, and that could be problems.
They were in the war room. I thought they would have killed Assam.
Yeah, it was like
Vader. He's Darth Vader. He's Anakin turned Vader.
Yeah, you've got to be prepared to kill him as a setup.
But not only that, when they approached to go kill Mylene, they had to know if Assam was with them in case Leon gave him some problems. It's still his wife.
Yeah.
Leon is that dude that, listen, we need, hey, Assam, you ready for the rematch? Because we may need
Leon defected.
Leon, after he killed his brother, he broke his own heart for her. She still fucked him up. Like he was like, "I am so done. I don't even have words for you." Like for me, I think the whole Young June has always been the wild card. He's the one with the knife. He's the one with the knives that you never know what's coming next. I do think it was given the fact that he knew Assam was never going to ever give him the go ahead to kill his sister. I think Young June would have gone ahead and sent a bunch of people there and said, they already on their way.
That's what
what I'm saying? They already on their way, and then told him they probably there. She probably did. Do you know what I'm saying?
Actually, they did show up. They was on their way.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, but to see Young June strapping up, I think Young June should have been sitting in that motherfucking chair like the damn Godfather, and this is the shit I did.
Yeah.
and see how he
They be on the way
reacts.
back when I tell you.
And they on the way back when I tell you.
They
Exactly.
walk in,
Because
and
that would have
to-
been gangster. It had his sister's head on a platter.
Right,
That'd
exactly.
been gangster.
Well, you can't do that because that's gonna send a song over the goddamn roof.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean that's just too biblical and
Right,
yeah,
we already got enough.
They're a little
We
bit
already have
classy,
enough.
Makai. They're a little bit classy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, but they're not. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is not Salome, and he's not John the Baptist.
Yeah, they're not
You know
gonna cut the
like,
head off. Makai.
Yeah,
They're
like
gonna allow her to get
just
properly buried.
Yeah,
I just think that given like everything that he learned from those final days with Father June, everything he had to go through, like, I mean, he took out his own dad. There was a level of foundation and grounding in him that was rooted. So to see him shift back to his old way, like, and not, yes, he put the tongue first, but he didn't put the tongue first in showing any growth of what he experienced with the loss of his father.
His strategy was not there of a leader.
Strategy was not there.
Yeah, not there. Yeah.
But,
so,
which is the one thing his dad kept trying to teach him.
But part of it too is like the words he told us Psalm 2 is like, I know what it's like to kill a family member, so I just want to let you know I'm killing yours. And I didn't want you.
I get that, but you do that after like the army's been sent and she's gotten confirmation.
And they're on the way back. Yeah.
Do that. Yeah. That's I agree. But you got to be a little strategic, especially when
he loved him as a brother. Said I loved you as a brother. Like I should be upfront with you.
Yeah, because then I would love to have seen young June sitting there in his chair with his hands on his knives. Like, I'm ready to do battle. Like, we're going to have to, you're going to come for somebody. You're going to come for me because I made that motherfucking call. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that to me would have been a more fitting battle between these two brothers. Mm-hmm. I did think that it wasn't nearly as honorable as what they deserved and had earned from the last two seasons.
But what happened was what they did. They cut to the
June made the right call. You got killed.
Absolutely.
No, what happened was
he made the only call he could.
They cut to the mayor asking this white woman to be married to him. That's what I know. That's what they cut straight
and
to.
And then cut to her cheating, and it was all a hoax because she's working with the white woman's husband.
Yeah. Like, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
I mean, we all knew that woman had an agenda, but I'm like, why do I care that this is the woman? I took me for. There's so many dudes that look exactly alike. I was like, which white dude is this?
I didn't know who he was at first. I had to look. I was like,
which white one is this? Didn't he just die in the last scene?
Yeah,
wasn't that him? That wasn't him. Okay, which one is he?
Yeah, I was confused between my apathy and them all looking at like I was like, I don't know what we're doing here. All right, guys, let's go ahead and re-rate this. We're gonna start with you, Rakai. How are you gonna re-rate it?
I'm gonna re-rate it my original rating, which when I saw it on the screen, I was like, wait a minute, I didn't rate it that, but I did. I put the wrong word down for the wrong number because my original rating was a snack. It wasn't cringeworthy, but it should have been a snack. I put like a 1.
You put a mini meal, I think.
But I put the word mini meal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I screwed myself up. But no, I'm still at snackish. Because you gave me some strong stuff to work with and to hope for in seasons 1 and season 2. And like I said, I see some correlations, some parallels between this and The Wire. And this season, completely off the rails. Like, I mean, there was some good stuff here and some stuff that could have definitely been built upon. But this was a happy story for all the Caucasian characters, and I don't like it. I don't, if they do a season 4, I think I would be, because I'm invested already, I would give it 1 episode to see where we're going. I can't do another season like this. This was a huge disappointment. So I'm staying at a snack.
Going to the snack. Okay. I'll jump in really quickly. I really liked the pilot episode. It started off with the fight scene in the alley, and it was like laying a foundation. I thought, okay, we're going to pick up where we left off in season 2. And as we've reiterated it several times, it just leaned all into this cloud of whiteness, and it took away from the Asian community and the Chinese characters, and that bothered me, similar to what Rikai say. So I gave it a snack to begin with. I'm going to adhere to my same rating, and I'm going to keep it as a snack. All right, Chuck, I'm go with you. How you gonna re-rate it?
What you just said. I mean, I love the acting. I love those characters. I just wanted more of them. I didn't need Strickland. I didn't need the mayor, the new mayor and his girlfriend. I didn't need the banker. I didn't need his wife. They could have done all that in exposition with them talking to each other. Like show them in the scene, then have exposition on what happened. You know, they could have arrested Mylene. I've been okay with that, but I didn't have them talk. Like, you slept with my husband, rest her. I didn't want to see all that. That angered me. That whole scene angered me. And I know that white people acted that way during that time, but I was still angry at it. And it was like, you didn't kill that bitch? You supposed to kill that bitch. You supposed to give her a knife to kill her husband? No, you supposed to kill her. Then kill his ass too. So I'm sticking with a snack. I don't know if I'll watch season 4. I don't think I would.
Courtney, bring us on home, ma'am. How are you going to re-rate it?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because when I
bully you, don't let Rikai and Chuck bully you. You gave it a bit.
No, I don't feel bullied. Yeah. I was already between, like when I sent and TD can attest to this. When I sent my rating, I said I guess I'm gonna go binge worthy, but I feel more of like a full meal, but I can't really put my finger on why. I guess I didn't really have a real reason, but there's something that bothered me. And so now that you guys have brought to attention, it is the muddiness. And honestly, it's mainly the revelation that like Shannon Lee was not a pivotal part of the writing of it anymore. And I do acknowledge and agree the peripheral side characters had more importance than they should have. And even it took away from and diluted the characters that we did, like even Bill and Leary. Like I kind of like Bill and Leary. I don't really like the little Southern man, his terrible Southern accent. He's British, and his terrible Southern accent. He ain't never been to the South. And I just always
it's actually really
bothered
good.
me.
Shake with it though. She's shaking with it.
I mean, he probably
use Longhorn. Use Foghorn Longhorn.
You know,
Foghorn.
Wait, what?
She Foghorn Longhorn. I'm saying here.
I say he ain't Southern at all. You know. So I do, now that I know that they were appealing to a community that had nothing to do with this show originally. Now my heart hurts. Mm-hmm. And I just can't give it a binge worthy just because it was so, you did a disservice to the characters that we've come to love in terms of like, I don't think A Toy Story was complete. I love Hong, not Hong, Chow. I do love Hong, but Hong's story was you were serving a community that you didn't even serve well. You know, like it felt haphazard and not thought out to really like delve into his relationship. You just did it because I should, you know. So though I do like ultimately the come around for Assam, like where he's been, came with one journey and he ended the show with that journey about his sister. They brought it back to him and his sister. Because I'm mad now, y'all done got me mad about like the politics behind the scenes and shit. I guess I have to go down. You know, I can't give it a binge worthy. I just can't do it. So I say, I'm gonna have to give it a mini meal.
Wow. You even done a mini meal? You just skipped over full meal?
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow. Oh,
I
I'm
don't care.
sorry.
I
didn't
was
mean-
gonna go full meal, but now I know the truth.
Oh,
It has been revealed to me, and I
Oh,
cannot
man.
look away.
I was heartbroken. I was heartbroken. They did the shit.
that
I
shit
said I
was
would give this cringeworthy. And I was like, you had all these beautiful Asian actors and actresses in this crushing it. Crushing it whenever they were on the screen. I mean, everybody crushed, even the white actors, they crushed. Even the black actors.
Even this is what I'm saying. Like, you did a disservice to Leary. Like I like Leary. I like Bill. I even didn't mind Bill's journey to get back with his wife. I didn't mind that little story.
I didn't mind.
I minded the Southern gentleman because his
See?
story never was worthy of that, and especially not worthy of a black woman. I can't.
That's gonna give us a total of a mini meal for the total score. But go ahead, go ahead.
That is hurt. Y'all want a little fun nugget? I don't know if y'all knew this. Did y'all know that Shannon Lee was actually in an episode this season?
Was she?
No, which one?
Season 6, a soft part, something where they went to do business with the Germans. Remember,
okay.
they went to that little town and
Yeah, was she the mother? Was she the mother of the little boy?
That was Shannon Lee.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Nice. They made her the mother.
Yeah, they've been trying to get her a cameo for the last 2 seasons, and she finally was able to make a cameo.
But we fired your writer, so we're
What?
gonna give you something to say.
Yep. All right. So Chuck, got anything to say before we head out, sir?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, Courtney. I got a bit heated there. I was like, oh my God, I hate this show.
That was terse.
I was.
It's
apologize.
okay. Like, somebody always listen. The last time we had this show, I'm gonna stop doing this show. This might be. I mean, on Warrior. I'm gonna stop reviewing Warrior because every season, one of the fellas comes for me with this show. Not you. It's usually Trey. Centel. Like Centel, the first 2 seasons, he and I got into a heated discussion. And then, like, that's how it ended up. We had that, like, it ended up playfully. It ended up playfully because we had the drawing, because like we were trying to turn it around.
That's right. We had the drawing. That's right. We still gotta do the drawing.
But they did the drawing. Remember, they had Centel and Randy like turn to the back.
Yeah, they did.
We haven't done the saran wrap.
We haven't
done the saran wrap from Sweet
I gotta
Tooth.
do that. We gotta do that.
But like, I'm like, I can't review Warrior anymore.
we'll do season 4.
Listen, Courtney, you can review Warrior anytime you want, as long as you do it in that Southern voice. That shit,
yes,
that shit is awesome.
Yes. We need to get you casted in Warrior. You're gonna be his girlfriend's sister that died, and you made it out west to actually confront him because you think he did it.
No, I want Courtney to be Happy Jack's sister and just be gangster Dale.
Oh yes,
that's it. No, we had to have her in a Southern voice though.
Gotta
have her in a Southern voice.
Yeah.
Oh man, I
gotta
have the sister of the dead wife.
She's the sister of the dead wife. Yeah.
The sister of the dead wife. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the sister of the dead wife.
I never trusted you in your fake accent.
I can't. But God, you got anything to say before we head out, sir?
No, man. I just think I really like this show. And again, I'm a lover of a lot of things Asian culture. Just because I've studied martial arts like all my life. So shows like Into the Badlands, this show were right up my damn alley. And this season, as much good was in this season, there was a lot of disappointment this season. So I'm not saying that I want to see a season 4, but if they do happen to do it, I'm gonna give it a shot. But it's a long shot. Like I can't do another season like this, man. So I'm glad we talking about something else probably that I'll dislike just as much next week. So
Courtney, got anything to say before we head out, man?
Yeah, I desperately need season 4, and I needed to redeem season 3. Like, for me, this was a setup season, and I really hope that I hope that somebody gets in there and at least comes back full circle away from like the shit show that became more the shadow, I'll say, the shadow that overtook this season. And I'm hoping that it's really building towards this final culmination with the Tongs and the community takes the stage center again. So I desperately need season 4. I am still very hopeful that it will come around. I do want to see what Mai Ling and Assam do, because I think ultimately the only one who can kill Mai Ling will have to be Assam. It just has to be him. Do you know what I mean? I think that that's what they're working towards. You have to put him in this position where he really sees that the sister he loved has been dead a long time. You know, so I think that that's the journey that we want to see. Whether or not he gets a happy ending, whether or not he and Young Jun find common ground, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm showing up for. And I do hope that they get a season 4, because we don't have enough shows with Asian leads. And given that, you know, Bruce Lee had his first version stolen from him in the first place, then now knowing this one was stolen from his daughter, it just kind of hurts me. So
Good, Chuck. What you guys?
Yeah, I like to see actually Assam with Mai Ling and him go against Lee Young, her husband, and against Young Jun. And we see the rise of the other Tongs as well.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that because I thought that ending for him was great.
Because he got the defectors, right? They took off their jackets.
Well, they took off their jackets and he was the one they were following.
Right with you. Yeah.
I love their swagger down the streets of Chinatown. I was like look,
you know what I mean?
My mining suit.
Yeah, swag.
Mining suits. So like,
yeah.
But Leon was that dude. Like even when Father June was tripping, was on that episode, and Leon took his coat off and put on Father June and brought him back, and a word did not have to be said. Nobody said thank you. A word did not have to be said. I already know. Respect.
It was honor. Like, it's about honor.
And Assam look at him like that way too. Like, man, I don't really want to fuck with you. If I have to, I will, but I don't really want to, because this might not end out how I want it to.
But knowing that he brought his father back, you know what I'm saying, when they could have easily killed him. Man, ain't no telling what Father June went out there and did. And it's about, no, this is one of our elders. He needs help, and I'm bringing him back home. You know?
That's what hurt me about the elder touch, because he brought him back after she killed all their elders, and he was an elder. And it's like, where are all the other elders in this? Yeah, like they would have been like, "Yo, she killed all the elders."
They had now from Mai Ling's ass. They don't know who's coming for them.
That she's about that life.
But I do think that in season 2, I vaguely remember, and maybe I read into this, that Young Jun pissed off a lot of the elders when his dad stepped down. That he pissed off a lot of the Hopway elders, and that not that he shunned them, like he never would have injured them, but I thought that he made it his own, you know, like these are my boys. I'm bringing in my team, my elders. I'm starting fresh. That's kind of what I got, and I could have read into that and made it up in my own imagination, but
you may be right. He might have.
I remember that when he took over for the time. And you can do that, but you can't kill them like Molly did. You can't kill them.
Yeah, because hers was out of fear. Like, she didn't like that they disrespected her on her wedding day and had a secret meeting. Now, was it fucked up? Absolutely. Is that how you handle it? No, because you just proved them right.
I feel like Marlene knew that going into that wedding. I feel like the wedding was the guy.
I mean, it was the red wedding.
Right, you know, she like knew going into. But shouts out to Digital Click. You know, they provide all of our surroundings and our borders, keep us looking good. Shouts out to Rodney for being a great technical director. We want to appreciate Mark for hanging out in the chat with us and communicating with us. We always appreciate you, Mark, for joining us. Shouts out to the BingeWorthy crew. Like every week, guys, we binge watch a full series, right? We do this in addition to every other thing we have to do, you know, professional lives and social lives and all of that. So shouts out to you guys for coming here and being great every single week. We want to say to all of our people out there, thank you for supporting the Geekish Network. The Geekish Network, we are devoted to creating content for people of color. We've got great people, intelligent, smart, sharp people in front of the camera and behind the camera. We do this to create content for people that look like you. So please support us. Next week, we're in a little kerfuffle. We don't know. We might do we might do Quasimodo. It ain't, I said the name wrong.
You said wrong.
Quasimodo.
Kazazi.
Y'all know what I
I
meant.
love that you said the Hunchback of Notre Dame. We're doing the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Notre Dame.
Y'all knew I was gonna mess it up, so y'all didn't need to correct me. All right, don't be that way. So we're decided on it. We're decided on it. We're gonna watch next week, but whatever we watch, it's gonna be cool. So tune in to us. Same geek time, same geek time.
Same geek time, yeah.
And we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
He said Quavo Moto.
Quavo Moto, the rapper.
I say good night.
You gotta do a whole show in that voice.